Well, you know what? Let me ask you. So I see, obviously Donald Trump won the election. Country's still divided. Everybody has their opinions.
Right.
we, but here's the thing. I saw her. To me, to Tiffany Henyard. I saw her make a congratulations to President Trump and talk about how we all need to reach across the aisle. And I mean, you would really think that
And
you got to give her credit. The way she talks, you would really think that she's like really higher up in government. You
she
know,
know what she's saying. Let's start there. Like she just
but
because she know words and she don't even
so
understand
so
the.
I'm wondering, is she trying to set up something to get a pardon?
Absolutely. Did you not hear me say that?
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
And today, the self-proclaimed super mayor says she sent this message to President-elect Donald Trump.
Trump did win, and congratulations again. This is me saying it publicly to our new president of the United States.
Inviting Trump to meet with her. Henyard's running for re-election next year.
Because guess what? Just like Trump, I'm going to come in on a landslide on both seats. Know that. Remember this moment. When I landslide and come in for the victory like I always do.
So yeah, because literally at the election polls, you were Team Kamala Harris. We got to get her in office. It's the year of the woman. Kamala's like me. Who the fuck want to vote for Kamala if she like you? I'm just gonna be very frank and say that I'm not gonna tell people who I voted for, but Kamala reminded me too much of Tiffany Henyard. I'm just gonna say that.
Listen. You could say that again. I mean, we should rewind that and play it
Every
again.
time you asked her a question, she's laughing.
Yes.
If you ask her serious stuff, she's laughing. If you pay attention to Tiffany, every time you ask her or you frustrate her, she's drinking water and smiling.
Hmm.
It's creepy traits that both of them have. Like,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, just the not answering, deflecting, um,
every time,
literally.
even at her Kamala's speech when she lost, she got up there and just started like laughing. Like that's one of her characteristics of how you know she's not truthful.
Hmm. Hmm.
She's not truthful, and it's just that I'm tired of hiring or electing people that I don't trust.
Yes.
It's time that we have to step back, and look at who we really are trying to put in these seats. I'm not saying, hey, Donald Trump needs to be in that seat, but I'm just saying I had no confidence in Kamala and her answers.
I'm so glad you're saying that, and particularly as a black woman, it's been, again, I understand everybody has their point of view. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? I think just what you just said embodies what I think, and I think a lot of people thought in the country is that you have to look at one, you got to look at people's policies, how they
And
answer questions. You know what
procedures.
I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if someone's going to be a leader, and some of the most basic questions as to the direction of where they want to lead can't be answered, it is alarming. It's a problem. When
And
you
you
look at
laughing at every interview at the most awkward points. It makes no sense.
yeah,
And your whole campaign is like Diddy's people. Like,
yeah,
and
it was
then
it was
we
just a horribly ran campaign. No answering any questions. The policies, she wasn't really able to back up the policies. And when you parallel her to Tiffany Henyard, I mean, Tiffany Henyard is far worse, in my opinion, obviously, because
absolutely
she's, first of all, she's not even contained. So
no.
she's deflects, but she deflects in a way that's rude. And I mean, to me, to the naked eye, it's obvious that she's lying. It's obvious,
Absolutely.
even if you don't know nothing about Dalton. If you just, like I told you last time, if you just listen to the board, the
Mhm.
trustees talk, you listen to citizens talk, and then you listen to her talk, it's obvious that there's something wrong. Now, with that being said, she's going to run for re-election. Do you think that is a conceivable chance that the people of Dalton would vote her back in as mayor? Is that conceivable?
When it comes to Dalton, believe it or not, Tiffany still has supporters in Dalton. She have a lot of people that she pay, and she pay well. You got to remember, she have a fan club. of people that are crooked with her.
Mm-hmm.
So you have William Moore. William Moore still comes to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
He was laid
Now
off.
tell me who. Now tell people who's William Morton.
William Moore is the director of, I want to say, the housing.
Got you.
Um, he goes out and he's been going out doing inspections for businesses
Mm-hmm.
in order to get on their business license. How, like he just said at the meeting Wednesday that he went out and inspected the gas station, but how are you going out inspecting anything and you're not even on Dalton's payroll?
Crazy.
So it's just like this dude won't stop working for Tiffany and you're not on the clock. How do you have access to the systems? Because they're
Well, you know what,
sharing passwords.
and right at that point, let me just say this: as Jason House, obviously the person that we all hope is going to be mayor of Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
He said, in the last meeting, he said,
Dalton is the only community that in order to get a business license or a liquor license, you need an attorney.
What Henyard's trying to do is Henyard's trying to block Keith Freeman from giving away all of the whatever he has that is going to bury her.
to give to the FBI.
Yes. So she lost access, and this is what I'm being told, to a lot of different systems. She had even lost access to her email, and IT have changed over there because they don't have the money to pay the bills. So
Right.
a lot of people that are working don't want to work for Dalton anymore because you guys not paying anything.
I am a vendor here in Dalton. I'm not a resident. I was previously cleaning the police department. I'm here because we are owed 4 months of pay. Even when we weren't getting paid, we still showed up each and every day to do our job. We have shown our integrity and have taken pride in what we do on a daily. We just want what is due to us.
So, with Keith Freeman works from home every day. Why
Mhm.
would he go into the office, into that toxic environment?
Yeah.
He wants Keith Freeman to come to work so bad so she can bully and beat up on him. But he's not coming into the office. Keith Freeman is doing a very good job working from home.
So, Keith Freeman, I know you watching. You no longer works for the Village of Dalton. Please turn in your keys, turn in all your stuff. HR reach out to you tomorrow as relates to your fire.
And that burns her bridges because she can't control Keith Freeman anymore
The way she used to.
the way she used to. And so William Moore is now like her Keith Freeman.
He's the new Keith Freeman.
Yeah. And so she was trying to put Michael Smith in, remember? That she was going to try and get Michael Smith to take Keith Freeman's role. That way Michael Smith can get access to all of the systems.
Yeah.
See, that's what Keith Freeman gave the trustees access to everything. So the transparency is already there.
Is there, right? And this is what the trustees were fighting for
Yeah.
all that time last year.
Yes.
And this year, for that.
Yes. So the trustees know what they're talking about.
Right.
And now they've already been doing what they were talking about. You've been watching the meetings, but now they have proof. So it's different when I'm telling you, hey, we got 4 cars that are on our budget that are not even police vehicles. These are just take home cars. Why do we have 4 take home cars and they got 1 car that's missing?
Well,
Right, it's a lot.
I think a lot of this is like it's hard for people who aren't tapped into Dalton or living in Dalton to understand, but the level of corruption and disorganization and chaos is unreal. And the thing about it is that again, if you're from Dalton or you're related to Dalton in any way, you understand that this is so chaotic for people who live there. You know what I'm saying? It's a stressful thing. Most people, I would say, in America don't live in towns, villages, or whatever where they're worried about this. They go about their way, they pay their water bill, they pay their taxes, they live their life, and a lot of people don't even know who the local government is because it's running generally smoothly. You may have bumps here and there, but this stuff is so chaotic. And
It's
I say all
toxic.
that.
It's so
I say all that to
toxic.
say. Well, I'm saying all that to ask you. I just want your opinion. Do you think it's not feasible, but do you think it's probable that she'll get voted in again? Because
No, I don't think.
it just seems scary.
I don't think she having unless she manipulates the system and she do own some houses and stuff. So unless she have a lot of people in the houses saying that they live there and to vote for her, but even so, it would take like she doesn't have that big of a fan base because she thinks everybody's a fan of her, but nobody is a fan of hers. Everybody just wants her to step down. That's a total. She's such a dingbat that she
She
really
sounds
thinks.
very confident that
She
she sounds
really
very
thinks
confident.
that we
She said she's gonna
about
win in
her.
the landslide.
She's first off, did she even she don't even know what a landslide means. So how could she win in a landslide when she didn't do it when she just 3 years ago?
She
She
got
wasn't
80% of the vote though, Viv.
wasn't voted. Listen, she wasn't voted into that township seat.
Right.
She was appointed. So she definitely gonna lose that supervisor seat because of the people that she's going up against.
Mm-hmm.
That's the really big bag that she really trying to keep. It's the supervisor seat. See, without that supervisor seat, her piggy bank is gone
Yes.
because
Yes.
Dalton already curbed her funding.
Right.
So even if she did win the mayor election in Dalton, she
Mm-hmm.
still would have a board that would not side with her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for four
And just
years, she'll be going through the same thing.
do the same deal. And just for people to realize again, Dalton is one village, one town, but that being the supervisor of the municipality, or excuse me, being the supervisor of the township includes what?
Absolutely,
17 municipalities.
absolutely.
So
And
you're governing
she don't
over
have enough
17.
seniors to vote for her. I don't care how many seniors you're gonna bust to the polls. Them seniors really only care about her because of bingo. Let's keep
Mm-hmm.
it real.
Mm-hmm.
Like they love bingo. Everybody loves bingo. If I was
True.
winning flat screen TVs, washing machines, dryers, like she give away good gifts. One thing
Mm-hmm.
about Tiffany is not cheap when it comes to buying stuff because
Mm-hmm.
it's all taxpayers' money.
Right.
Why would
That's the
she?
whole
Why
issue.
would she give you regular Nikes when she can buy Jordans for everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Like she's that kind of person. She's
Mm-hmm.
very irresponsible with the spending and with our tax dollars. So, with that being said, she has some seniors that's in her corner that will go hard for Tiffany. They're like
Mm-hmm.
grandmas to her, but they're brainwashed.
Right.
And they don't understand that everything that they're getting has been misused, misappropriation. That's our tax dollars.
Yeah.
Y'all are failing all of the residents for bingo.
So she's essentially bribing these older people with good gifts for bingo
Mm-hmm.
night and different giveaways and stuff like that. And people are like, oh, she really, and it's hard
She
to
gets some
understand.
parties. If you see her bingo games be lit. I ain't gonna even lie. Like she she have a good ass turnout for real. Like she go and bust in every single citizen she can find, and she packed the whole little township house. Like she be having hundreds and hundreds of people in there when she have her bowling parties. Like she had
Well,
food, she had cake, she got a DJ. Like
well, my mind is still, this is, and this is the thing, it still blows my mind a little bit that, you know how you see two people arguing, right?
mm-hmm,
One person is arguing one side, another person arguing another side. It still blows my mind that it's such polar opposites. That because again, like I said, if you don't know nothing about Dalton and you listen to the trustees describe what's going on and you listen to her, it's hard for me to understand how she's describing a situation where to her ain't nothing wrong, and I can't
mm-hmm.
understand what is her mindset going forward. What does she think? She because she's saying that she's going to be reelected. She seems like she said she's invited Donald Trump to come and talk to
Listen, first off, Donald Trump better not try and come and talk to Tiffany Henyard.
her.
Um, Let me
That
just
is
tell
so
you
funny to
something.
me. I mean,
First off, I knew she was gonna try and flip Republican. I don't know if I told you the last interview, but when she went on Roland Martin, she was saying some stupid, strange things. Like, I'm not mentally ill.
When you look at how you're being framed, you are being called crazy, deranged, saying that you are stealing funds. You also you have a charity that from the Attorney General's office. As I understand, they sent a cease and desist letter to your foundation.
I don't know nothing about that. I'm not crazy. I'm not
You have
deranged.
Tiffany Henyard Cares, your foundation. So the Attorney General's office hasn't reached out to you regarding your foundation?
So I want to set the record straight. I don't have a foundation. I'm doing that. I'm really, really big on that's dear to my heart. Is I'm real big on a cancer foundation. I have created Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, and what that entails is helping everybody within the 17 municipalities with services such as.
If you notice, she said that in the interview at some point, and she was like, well, I'm not Republican. But it's like you say off things when people ask you questions that doesn't even have to do with the questions that they're asking you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I knew when she went out there, when she did her little tour, because we paid a lot of money for her to go to DC to go see Roland Martin. Like, she paid him to do that interview.
Oh, she actually paid Roland Martin for that interview.
Yeah, and like with Angela Yee.
Oh, she paid Angela Yee?
Yeah, she paid. So I don't know if you paid attention to that interview that she did with Angela Yee. That's why everybody was pissed off, because they was like, why is she asking her those soft ass questions? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was the whole thing at the time, because she did it. She did Roland Martin and she did Angela Yee.
She's talking about a charity that she didn't know about. All he had to do was Google it.
Literally.
And it's been in the news forever. So you tell me, investigative journalist, Roland Martin, and you can't look up Tiffany Henyard before you got her on your set? She on set. Jason called in. She was sitting in front of the face.
You know what though? But see, here's the difference. Now you actually filled in that missing piece, because I don't think most people know that she paid for that interview and probably paid for Angela Yee, because honestly,
100% paid for Angela Yee. It's on one of the credit card statements.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's fun. It's interesting because I remember at the time, I was like, damn. I said, she is, like her or not like her, she's making so much noise that, we have Roland Martin. I don't know where Roland Martin is based, but I know Angela Yee is based out
in
here.
DC. Remember when she went to the White House? That was all planned.
Got you. And then Angela Yee's based here in on the East Coast. So I was like, she's getting these people who want to interview her.
Mm-hmm.
She's definitely kicking up enough dust. But that's a good point. I did not know that she paid for that. So that's paid marketing.
I don't even know if you remember when she was saying not too long ago that she's going to find a YouTuber with a million subscribers so she can tell her story, because the news keep lying on her. She wants to pay people to talk about her in a good way so she can use it for campaign. That's it. That's all. She knows that she doesn't have a chance, definitely within the township.
Yeah.
When you steal money from just our community, that's okay. But when you start stealing money from other communities that's not ours, that's when the feds come knocking.
Right.
If she had never got appointed to that township seat, the feds would not be on her ass, because they don't care about Dalton.
Well, I'm going to pause you right there. That's a really, really, really good point. And I think people should understand, again, Dalton, village of Dalton, 20,000 plus people, 21,000 people. And I'm glad you said that, because that is a great point. The people of Dalton are suffering because of a lot of craziness. And yes, I agree with you. The chances are they would have said that little town, the feds got bigger fish to fry. They're not worried about it. And she probably would have been going on and on. Whether she's being reelected or not, that's another story. But as far as consequences, probably nothing's going on, because, again, she's been mayor for 3 years now.
Yeah.
Right. So chances are nothing was going to happen. And to that point, I guess what I'm thinking is that now that Donald Trump is in and the election is over, right? Um, I'm wondering if they're going to close in soon at some point because
They do. I know that I'm actually planning on trying to go to the FBI office this week. Me and another resident, because I just want to update them and go over some stuff. Because I went before, but that was before my radiation.
well,
But
I mean, she's one that I would say I've never seen. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? She's definitely seems like 101. And I just wanted to ask you, or also just talk about Lori Lightfoot's investigation. So, I'm sure people were aware. That kind of seemed like it came and went. I think people don't quite understand it.
Lori Lightfoot is still part of the investigation, but it's so complex.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you. I wanna just say something about it and let me know if I'm off. So, from what I understand, obviously people who don't know, Lori Lightfoot was the former mayor of Chicago.
Mhm.
Dalton hired her to come and do an independent investigation into Tiffany Henyard and the Dalton, the
Trustees.
Dalton government, right? To kind
Mhm.
of go through, do like a forensic
Uh,
audit, financial audit. She does the audit, or the investigation, comes back, and during one of the board meetings some months back, she essentially revealed what they found in the investigation, right?
right.
They found huge discrepancies. They found huge charges on credit cards, so on. And then I think people thought, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, I think people thought, okay, good, they got her, that's a smoking gun. But what people don't realize, it was just an investigation. She doesn't have any prosecuting authority. So it's just information as of right now.
So yeah, so everything that Lori Lightfoot brought to light to the residents was because of the trustees and because Keith Freeman finally gave access to the actual financials. Um, I'm glad Keith flipped when he did because he made life for the trustees easier for them to do their job. Um, with um, with Mayor Lightfoot, she did what she was supposed to do, and she brought to light the bank accounts. She brought to light the deficits. She brought to light the cars, the expensive overtime for the that the police chief wasn't even supposed to get.
Hmm.
Like that was a shock to a lot of us because the way that they're cooking them books, they figuring out different type of ways to pay. Like he is an exempt
Crazy.
employee. How is an exempt employee getting paid overtime? That's not that's not a code that you're supposed to be able to put in the system to do unless you know what you're doing and you're doing it crookedly.
Hmm.
I hired employees. I've hired CEOs. I've hired CFOs. I've hired a lot of different people. You can't make somebody that's exempt non-exempt.
Right.
You got to be one or the other.
Right.
Because non-exempt, you can get overtime. Exempt, you're salaried.
Yeah.
You're salaried for a reason because you chose to take this management position and you're okay in this leadership role and
Right.
you want to grow in this role and so that's why you're chief. So now that you're
Right.
chief, you're not doing as much work in the field as everybody else. You're not supposed to be because you're supposed to be the boss now.
Right.
So how are you getting $200,000 a year in overtime?
And this isn't, and being the chief of being the chief, it's not like you getting a bonus, like
Hello,
you operate in a hedge fund and you get a bonus.
hello,
It ain't that kind of job,
and it's
you
like
know.
it's crazy because she have illegal appointees still that are still out on the street because remember when she did that illegal appointment when the officers didn't pass the test, but she
Hmm.
still appointed them to
Hmm.
higher positions. So she still have those out on the street. Is she? She's in a she's a nutcase. Let's start there.
Well, you know what? But the thing is that it's again, it's still it's such an unbelievable story. You
Then
know,
you see
it's
Ronnie Burge. Ronnie Burge is now, so the judge, so they went to court after the meeting Wednesday. Because remember, she made her appointments. So she was trying to appoint Angela, whatever her attorney name is, that weird looking lady, Max Solomon.
mm-hmm.
From what I was told, none of them have insurance that they can use to actually be lawyers for the village. So they have to have like an extra type of insurance that they carry at all times, and they don't have it. So
Well,
Max,
just for clarity, Viv. So we're talking about attorneys that supposed to be representing the village, right?
village, but they're her personal attorneys.
But they're her personal attorneys.
They both
And
have
if
been,
if if people go throughout the board the village meetings throughout the months, it seems that there's been different did she get rid of multiple attorneys? Because I
yes.
keep seeing
So
new
remember
attorneys.
she had Bo Bridley and what Frank called him, Bo Biscuit Bridley. But when she had those two weird looking lawyers
Yeah.
that looked like they were straight out of a trailer park, um, yeah, they came to a couple meetings. She couldn't pay them. Everybody that she's trying to put on board, they're not qualified for that role, and they're all criminal defense attorneys.
Okay.
So they're not even municipal. Like, it's not for the village; it's for her. So what
Okay.
she wants to do is, her end goal is to try and get the residents to foot the bill for her attorneys,
I see.
because she have a big case coming up. So if she could get her legal counsel on staff before she gets voted out, then they still have to represent her.
Okay.
That makes
I
sense. So even Angela, she represents Tiffany in other personal matters. So it's a conflict for her being the village attorney. You understand what
okay.
I'm saying? So the
Right.
judge only said that she can do 28 days. So
Okay.
after 28 days, Tiffany has to find a new lawyer to represent the village of Dalton, because everybody else she's getting is all representing her in personal matters.
Her
For her
personal.
eviction case, remember she haven't paid her rent. She make
That
over
I want to get into that too, because that
$40,000. Okay.
I just I try to make sense of this stuff. Now, real
Can't
quick,
make sense.
who is this gentleman right here?
The black guy, that's Max
Yeah,
Out.
who is he?
That's her the lawyer that she tried to get appointed.
Got it. Got it.
But
Okay.
he just got reinstated because he had a scheme where he took one of his clients' money, like $12,000 or something, and didn't give them the money that he was supposed to give them. So he basically defrauded someone. So he was
Mm.
so the bar had took his license. So he just got his license back. That's why he happy to help Tiffany, because he needs to make some money.
You know, I was talking to a friend of mine just on the subject, but off the subject for a second. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and he voted for Kamala, and we were having this debate, and I was explaining to him that a lot of the Democrat-run cities currently, right now, and this
Hmm.
isn't about Democrat or Republican, but just for an example, places like Chicago, and Dalton is included in Chicago to
Yeah,
me, like Chicago land, right?
right.
Places like Chicago, places like New York, places like the Bay Area. Um, the leadership that's going on in the corruption is nasty work. It's
Absolutely.
real nasty work, and people really. I think that's why the country voted the way they voted, because
Absolutely.
you got to look at this is such a great example. I mean, the stuff that she has gotten away with. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody
It,
can
it,
stop her. And that's the sad part, is because nobody can contain her.
well, that's the question. It's like
Like the mayor of Chicago, nobody can stop him, right? You just got to vote them out.
the corruption is just bad, and it's gotten to a point now where yeah, people do feel. Imagine if you just an everyday person trying to live your life, under this type of, you know, these type of leaders, and you feel helpless. Nothing you could do. And what I was explaining to him, I said, people have to understand that, so while people are so fixated on Donald Trump and how much they hate him personally, I get it. But people don't want, I was telling my friend, I said, yo, you got to realize that most of people's lives that's affected day in, day out is from municipal government and
Yeah,
state government.
absolutely.
That's where you
That's where
suffer the
the votes
most.
should be going the most.
Yes.
But people don't
Yeah.
get out for those elections.
That's what I'm saying. But
They
and
get
that's what
out
I'm
for the
saying.
president. But when it
Yeah.
comes to your local government, that's when people stop caring. It's like that's what affects your day to day. And
Yes.
it's sad because most people will pay taxes year after year and not even go to their own board meetings to see how the tax money is being spent.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would you not care how your money is being spent until it's being fucking stolen by her? You understand what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, and you know what, Viv, the thing of it is that to me, Tiffany Henyard, amongst other stories that's happened the past couple of years, but her story, y'all's story, Dalton's story, is to me the number one example as to people needing to wake up to local government. It's the number one example. If you can't find no other example to learn from,
Listen, I
you know
have
what I mean?
so many inboxes of people from all around the world just thanking me on what I'm doing. And I'm only just doing what I'm doing because I'm sick of her shit and because I asked people for their votes for her seat. You understand that? But I wasn't myself. And I always say that. I was not me when I did that because I was manipulated. I was listening to her vision and I really believe that heifer. And now I have to work hard to make sure that people don't give their votes to her again. You got to understand, more people came out for the recall election than she got votes for her actual win for the mayor seat.
Hmm.
So when you talk about that 82%, that 82% was bullshit because Jason had more votes than her.
Right.
And that hurts her pride when you say that because she loves to use that 82%. I want because it was COVID. COVID had just ended. People
Hmm.
wasn't giving a fuck about none of that local elections or none of that.
Exactly.
So the voter turnout was horrible. But even with the low voter turnout, Jason had more numbers than her.
Hmm.
Like you
Hmm.
didn't even have enough people to barely vote for you. And then you mind you, she going against Ronnie Burge. Now that's your police chief. You understand what I'm saying? It's always been in the works for them to rob Dalton, just like they robbing Harvey. It's the same thing. These Democrats, and it's sad to say, but a lot of these Democrats, they are trying to keep our communities poor.
You know what? And you know what, Viv? And here's the thing. And I'm so glad you said that because that is exactly why I think a lot of people have left the party. And
But
again,
they got it. They have to still help their city. But listen, I'm listening.
no, 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 it's all good. No, I was just saying that if you just take a step back and look at what people are doing, it answers the question as to whether they're leading well or not. If most of the Democratic run cities, and again, most of the time when I talk to people about this stuff, people are so caught up in the gang. Crip is like Crips and Bloods,
Right.
GD's Vice Lords. I mean, they looking at it like it's like that, and it's not even about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly, I don't really care. I will vote for either party depending on what they're going to do, and again, how they're running stuff. So when you paralleled Tiffany Henyard to Kamala Harris, right? If you look at Tiffany Henyard and you're someone in Dalton who wants to vote, right? Forget about what you got in bingo and the gifts and all that. If you
Hello.
just look at your city and the stuff that's going on, especially if you live there over 10 years, 15,
Mm-hmm.
20 years, and you compare it to what was going on there. I mean, the last time I lived in the area was 2000, and before I moved to New York, New Jersey, was 2004. I moved here in 2005, 20 years ago. Last place I was living in Riverdale.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And there was nothing like this going on to this extent back then. You know what I'm
No.
saying? 20 years ago. So my point is that you just have to look at what's going on. The stuff that's going on, the whole world shouldn't even know who Dalton is.
No. The
You know
whole
what
world
I'm
doesn't know who Vivian is. Like, let's be honest. I have so many people from all around the world that know who I am strictly because of this bullshit.
saying? Right.
And it's an embarrassment, but the people that come up to me are just thanking me for what I do. But
Yeah.
people see us at these meetings. We can't even get answers from her, so we have to degrade her. That's the
Yeah.
only way you get a response out of that heifer is to degrade her. You have to go up there and tell her about herself because you're ruining our town. You're ruining everything that Dalton has stood for. And then now you making it so bad where the state might have to come in to bail us out because that's just how bad of financial ruins that we are in. And people have to understand that Dalton can't thrive or make it with some type of financial gain. You don't
Yeah.
even own businesses in your own town. Every business is you blocking their business license, telling William Moore to make sure he go and lie so that he can say everything is wrong with these businesses so they won't be up to code. William Moore doesn't even work for Dalton, and I'm gonna keep saying that. I don't know why that strange weirdo keep coming to work, but he don't even work for Dalton.
Well, just on that point too, Viv, what's scary is what you just said as far as the business in any given town. When you start driving business away, you know what I'm saying? And I've personally been hearing about it for about 2 years about businesses, what they're going through.
She had Menards on her list. You know how long we've had Menards? She didn't want to give
Menard's been there
Menards
forever.
and Domino's Pizza a business license because they don't want
That's
to pay to
insane.
play.
It's insane. And that's the quickest way to destroy
The
your
whole
town.
community. You
The
remember
whole community.
Pepe's left because of her.
You told me, yeah. Yeah.
So it's
It's
like
been there a long time.
our people that we've grown up with are slowly but surely just leaving the town because they sick of her.
People have to understand how dangerous that is, and that's why I wanted to dwell on that for a minute, because if you have businesses who've been in a town for 40 years, I mean, Pepe's was there before we were there. Pepe's was there
Hello.
well over 40 years ago.
Hello.
And if you have any business that's been in a community for 40 years, that should tell you something. That's half.
Absolutely.
That's like more than half of most people's lifetime is 40 years. So if you have
Absolutely.
a business that's been there that long and they're no longer there, obviously something is going wrong with the leadership. And if
Mm-hmm.
you get rid of, like, for instance, I mean, one of the things I always notice, if you talk about South suburban towns in Illinois, Robbins, for example,
So
when
we
you
talk
roll through Robbins, that was one of them towns where you don't see a lot of business. I used to be like, yo, how does this town even survive? Another place, Chicago Heights. It was almost, I don't know how it is now, but at one
same.
point, Chicago Heights had the Ford plant Four Heights, Chicago Heights.
Four
They
Heights,
had the Ford.
Chicago Heights still look deserted.
Yeah,
They do
yeah,
have
and it's nothing
some
there.
areas that's still real building, but their taxes is so high, and out here in these suburbs, especially like Chicago Heights, have one of the highest tax increases this year.
That's insane. And if you have no
They don't have
businesses,
any businesses.
if you
Exactly.
ain't if you have no businesses, how can you really survive? You just basically got to tax the residents who are there,
Absolutely.
who don't even make that much money on a medium scale. So
Hello.
it's people don't understand how dangerous it is when you have some. And for Dalton in particular, there was no reason for that to even happen. I
No.
mean, Dalton was once one of those places that was thriving with different businesses. It wasn't the biggest booming town in the world,
Now,
but
remember we
it,
had Kmart, like
yeah,
all
we had Kmart, Venture, all the different they had the major fast food places, smaller fast food places, mom and pop barbecue spots, different type of retail. So it's one of them grocery stores. It's different one of them things where it don't even have to happen. And for somebody to come in,
what's happening is we tired of bullies. We tired of people being mean. So
Right.
your end goal could never be completed because we're going to make sure that you don't get voted back in that seat. But her end
Well,
goal,
assuming that she did, do you think that someone like her was eventually having her eye on bigger appointments, maybe governor or senator? Do you think she was just thinking about those things in the
absolutely,
future?
she because she wants to be a woman in power. She wants to be a leader. You hear her when she talks. She
Sure.
thinks that she resembles Martin Luther. No, Martin Luther, like I told you, the being, not the king. But
Oh
yeah,
man, no,
she thinks
not
she
at all.
resembles Rosa Parks and all of our legends. No, you don't. They turn over in their
That's an
graves
insult.
when they think about what you're doing.
Hmm.
You are not a leader. You don't speak for me as a black woman. Let me tell you something. I'm a single black mother, 47 years old. I have 2 kids, 1 grandchild. You don't speak for none of us. When I say none of us, none of us. The things that you're saying are disgusting. The things that you're doing, some of them are life changing for a lot of people.
Yeah,
You put so many lives and families in a position where they'll never heal because of that you've done, and you don't even care. You understand what I'm saying? That's the hard part, waiting on the feds to come in and actually do something about this. So, and
right,
I get
right.
tired. Like, let me just say this to people that say, "Oh, you need to go do this or y'all need to do that." We're doing all we can. It's only so much you can do when it comes to a person like this. You have to allow the law, like Dr. Nikita said, the law to law. Until we keep showing the judges everything that she's doing, that's because she doesn't listen. If you
Yeah,
pay attention to that township meeting when that lawyer got up and told her that she was wrong, what did she say? Well, I don't believe you. I don't believe that.
yeah, yeah.
Because it didn't go in her favor.
Let me pause you on the point right before that you were making right before that. I just want to say too is that it's not easy to get up and go to the board. People have to understand the effort that you're doing and other people are doing is it's not easy to continue to do it month after month.
When I went to that board
Um,
meeting Wednesday, my sugars were so fucking high.
yeah, and the stress level. I was
And
going
my
to say the
stress
stress
was
level of
just
what y'all
up.
going through.
But when I go because I promised myself that I'm gonna be at every board meeting until she gets unseated.
You actually that's what I wanted to really, really, really help people understand. Like you actually care. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
it's one thing to just say something, but to act, you actually care and you go through what you have to go through to get there and let it be known. Because if most people didn't say nothing, yeah, the news is covering it.
The news wouldn't
But
be covering it if we wasn't talking.
facts. But you know what? I'll say this. Even if the news covered it, nothing speak more than people who are actually there when residents speak. Because people who ain't living there, you just hearing a news story. But when you see people
Absolutely.
who actually live in there, when you see people who are living there and you listen to the trustees, it makes sense together.
Yeah.
It adds weight. You know what I'm saying?
And then
So,
it's like what the
um,
trustees have to go through. Do you see how she talks to them and belittles them at every meeting?
yeah, I don't know how they've done it.
Meeting.
I've seen their restraint. They should get an award for
Listen,
their restraint.
listen, because
They
it's
deserve an award.
me.
Well, I wanted to ask you about so and it was a good transition even talking about what y'all are going through and going to the meeting. So with Jedediah Brown, we talked about that a little bit. What's going on as far as because obviously I've seen many YouTubers cover the story.
Let me
And
just say this. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you ask the
let
question.
me give a quick disclaimer. My thing is that obviously this is an interesting story, but I have ties to Dalton. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At the end of the day. I want the information to get out. So I'm one of many people just trying to understand what's going on and get the information out.
Mm-hmm.
And, for me, I just feel like it's really about getting the information out because this is a micro example of
Mm-hmm.
bad government that
Absolutely.
you don't want to see on a larger scale. You know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? In addition to my ties to Dalton, it's bad government that you do not want to see. And
Absolutely.
so I
And
just
it's
want
a
to put that
learning
disclaimer.
experience for everyone across the world because now you know the questions to ask, what to look for. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's teaching people that never cared about local government what to look for when you are dealing with your local government. So in
Yes.
that perspective, it's a very good learning lesson. But it's on the back
Yes.
of Dalton.
Right. Right.
Go ahead.
And that's why I'm glad you said that, because I tell people all the time, I didn't pay attention to local government for the most part at all. I tell people all the time, I'm not going to act like, oh, I've been paying attention. I have not.
Right.
Up until a couple of years ago when I first started hearing her name,
Mm-hmm.
and I heard, I'm from Dalton, so, and I still have a lot of friends there in Illinois and Dalton in general. So when I
Mm-hmm.
found out we had a female mayor, I was like, oh, that's cool. I remember thinking to myself a couple years ago back in 2020, I'm like, yo, that sounds kind of cool. Good for Dalton. And I'm just thinking about all these great things that are probably happening. And I heard her age. I'm like, yo, she's a little younger than me. So I'm like, great. It's finally
Mm-hmm.
being ran by people in our generation. It made me
Right.
proud. It made me say people that we went to school from and now we were kids and now we're adults. We've had people like we've had athletes, we'd have Napoleon and Donovan McNabb and people like that people know of,
Mm-hmm.
nationally or worldwide that's from that area.
Right.
Antoine
Randall.
Randall, and so on. You know what I mean? All these people from Dalton Riverdale. Now, when I heard that there's a mayor there, I said, this is someone in our age. And I'm like, cool. Now we're running the town. And I thought back then I wasn't thinking deeply, but I said, this is positive. This is good.
I
And
thought so too. She had me bamboozled. Yeah.
but when I start hearing the negative stuff, then I started to peep, and I'm like, this is not good. But anyway, the reason why I brought all that up is that the YouTubers who are following it, a lot of people are following the story. I see people making stories. Their whole YouTube channel is based on,
Based on Tiffany.
what I'm saying, and based on Tiffany exactly, and
That is the township and Dalton, technically.
exactly. And the thing about it is that, so I wanted you to speak to what is the YouTube beef that's going on between
Okay.
Jedediah and the YouTubers, and what's
So
going on there
let's
with the
start
YouTubers?
at the beginning. So when we couldn't get people to listen to us, the news, Sherry Brighton, she came up with the idea to take it to YouTube. At that time, I was never even on YouTube. I wasn't watching YouTube, but a lot of people watch YouTube videos. Now, mind you, I've been sick, so I'm out of the loop on a lot of stuff that's going on at
Viv,
that.
one thing real quick. I
Uh-huh.
want I want to reiterate something you just said. So you're saying that the news wasn't covering it at all.
They wasn't covering it like we wanted them to, and we were trying
It
to
was
get
YouTube who turned it up.
right. We were trying to get a lot of attention to the finances and to what the trustees was going through. So we had to take it to the YouTubers because the YouTubers they do good content, and when they do good content, they have high numbers of people that watch their views. I mean, watch their videos. So I think that they took it to Pink Book Lessons. They took it to Hannibal is Hungry
Mm-hmm.
and Shawani Burns. So those
Mm-hmm.
are like the first three YouTubers that they took it to, and they rolled with it. Like they were doing really good content with it. They were watching the meetings. They were creating clips, like you just did, and talking about Dalton. That started getting the buzz. So when that started getting the buzz, they started using other content creators from YouTube to give them the same information so they can, start posting their own stories. What happened was when Tiffany got wind of that, she flipped a couple of the content creators. So, like one of them, her name is Lolita. Who claimed she was a Dalton resident. I didn't know this heifer, never seen her growing up in Dalton, but that's what she claims. She had another one, Conscious somebody. She had this guy. I forgot his name. He was a loser too. Then she had this one like devil worshiping lady. Like seriously, this lady would be online at 3 a.m. reading tarot cards and making weird laughs and stuff. Like for real, for real. Like it was crazy. So with the YouTubers that we were using, they all flipped and went to Tiffany's side because they everybody wants to have that first story, right? Everybody
Right.
wants to be able to, okay, like when Keith Freeman filed bankruptcy, Shwani Burns, she's the one that released that, and then everybody else got the you see how I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
always wanted to be the ones to break something, and
Mm-hmm.
they wasn't getting the content that they needed to break the stories. They were always like second and third.
Got you.
So for the ones that really wasn't getting content at all, they flipped with Tiffany. They got mad at Dalton because we had people that we were already using that was already set up in place already. Now, if you
Mm-hmm.
look at what's going on in Dalton, you know that people gonna watch your videos because it has something to do with Dalton.
Right.
So if you're a good content creator, then that's up to you to figure out how to get your channel better. That's your thing. And it's
Sure.
like if you're boring, you're boring. I don't know.
Right.
Let's keep it real.
It is what it is.
So with Jedediah was releasing a lot of breaking news for content that he was creating. Now, when Jedediah started, he didn't have a YouTube. So YouTube wasn't his thing. He was only on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And Jedediah already came with a following because remember I told you he was been an activist under Andrew Holmes.
Right.
So a lot of people know of Jedediah, and they're jealous of the relationship that he had with Dalton because he came into Dalton and led the charge when it came to the YouTube and the content. Now, Jedediah has an investigation team set up that helps him. So, that's his thing. Investigate and advocate. That's what he called himself. So a lot of the other YouTubers was just jealous because Jedediah has that spotlight.
And they don't care about Dalton, though.
They don't really give a about Dalton, and that's the whole thing. It's like all of these YouTubers' whole purpose is to monetize,
Right.
and everybody was just assuming that Jedediah was just monetizing off of everything. Which I don't know what in Jedediah's pockets, how he do his money or whatever, but everybody was already making money off of Dalton, and in my opinion, it's sad because y'all not giving it back to Dalton at all. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Y'all taking our pain and y'all monetizing it, and
Yeah.
y'all not even trying to help with what we're going through.
Right.
Jedediah at least shows up to the meetings. You understand what
Yeah.
I'm saying? He's there. He's present. All
Right.
these YouTubers, they just want to be on YouTube, which is fine. It's that's what YouTube is for, to create content and to help you get subscribers to watch it. But
Right.
y'all mad at him because he has more subscribers or he has all of the details of what's going on with Tiffany Henyard. And it's like, even whatever he break, you still can talk about. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right.
what's the beef? It's just like all of the YouTube, and I get tired of all of them. Like even Grace Levy, like she went in the other day on Jedediah Brown, and I don't watch YouTubers' content really. And you remember I told you because I still haven't really watched the full interview from us. I watched the clips, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't watch because I hate hearing myself talk. But I do. It's real. It's so real. You think I'm playing? It's so real. Like I won't even rewatch the meetings. Oh, I'll fast forward past myself when I do public comment. It's so extra. But it's just that everybody has some type of content that they're trying to create. It's all
Yeah.
about the validity of that story, right?
Right.
And
Right.
whether or not what you're creating and what you're telling to the masses is true.
Right.
And Jedediah, a lot of stuff that he said has not been debunked. You understand what I'm saying? So when he broke stories about Hemyard and broke stories about the trustees, even when Jerry Jones resigned, Jedediah knew that before other people would know.
Mm-hmm.
But Jedediah was like one of the ones that forced Jerry Jones to resign because Jerry Jones had a sketchy past of quote unquote allegedly touching boys.
Mm. And he doing the
So
research. He doing the research and the knowledge
absolutely,
to
absolutely,
so
he
his
investigates.
content.
That's what his thing. But he's an activist, so he knows
Yeah,
how to get information. They're
yeah.
not
He's really
activists.
out here.
They're content creators. You don't hit the streets like he do. You understand what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Like
facts.
he's out there. He's talking to victims. It's not just Dalton that he's doing. So y'all mad, but y'all not out here putting y'all feet to the pavement, trying to really come to these meetings and figure out why is it like this.
Well, you know what? Let me say something there, 'cause that's a good point. I think people should just be happy in general, because like you said, it come down to your motive, right? So for me, being from Dalton and that whole area,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I wouldn't want to make videos every day about Tiffany Henyard. You know what I'm saying? It
No,
just don't feel right for me personally. But again, I'm with you. I do understand the business of YouTube and putting stuff out there, and
right.
that's your main thing. I get it. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable because again, the pain of the people. I
Listen,
lived there. I grew up there, so I understand that it feels a little weird to me to do that. And I think a lot of people, them YouTubers, if it was the pain of their town, they probably wouldn't be feeling
let me
the
tell you
material like
something.
that.
When Jedediah had a beef with some other YouTubers from out of state, like most of the YouTubers don't live here; they live in
Sure.
other states. So they a lot of times when they talking about what's going on in Dalton and Thornton Township, they mix the two up because they don't understand the difference between the village of Dalton and Thornton Township
Right.
because they don't
Right.
live here; they're out of state.
Hmm.
So they give misleading information or say stuff that's inaccurate, and then you have other people believing what you're saying because you don't know how to distinguish the two. So, like when Jedediah was into a beef with them, they found out he was staying at a hotel. Now, mind you, Jedediah he had a monkey, and they called the authorities and figured out what hotel he stayed in. And the police went to his hotel, found his monkey, and seized it and euthanized it.
Damn. This is what they doing. That's what the YouTubers. I
It
mean,
was so sad, but yes, it's
that's that's
like
that's
it's just like an
that's crazy.
ongoing. Like, why would y'all even stoop that low? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, at the end of the day, like if you just want if you want the information out there, if you just want the information, you want to contribute to information getting out there, then you shouldn't even care who's covering it better.
Hello,
If Jedediah is covering it better, that's good. If you care about the
hello.
information, everybody should be pushing in the same direction, in
And
my
it's all
opinion.
about your delivery too. Everybody that's a YouTuber shouldn't be a YouTuber.
That's a
Everybody
fact.
don't have good content to
That's a fact.
provide, and everybody doesn't have good conversations behind the content that they're actually providing. So you will be
Right.
sitting on there talking for all this time, but talking in circles, and nobody knows what the hell you're talking about. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
even with Grace Lee, with Levi, whatever her name is, like she victim shamed for Nia because she mad at Jedediah because her and Jedediah got this inbox beef going on. Mind you, she done screenshotted all of the messages that she antagonized him to respond to. You know how somebody in your inbox and sending you little stuff, calling you out your name and stuff, and then now you
Yeah.
okay, now I'm gonna say something because this is just going too far. Like that's how it was, and she even showed like, okay, well I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I inboxed him. How petty are you?
And that part, that's the unfortunate thing. And I'm glad you shed light to that, because I don't even think people are aware of that. I think that you know, that's shameful, honestly, because
Hello,
at the end of the day, at some point, she won't Tiffany Henyard won't be in power
Mayor.
no more. And there's a distinct difference between like a Jedediah who is an activist and literally is covering this in a different type of way, right?
Absolutely,
So
because he's on
his
the ground with
he's
this.
on the ground,
He
and then
spends
other
money
people,
to get flights to come back and forth. He don't live
facts,
in Illinois.
and that will tell people right there. That's
He's
not
in Texas.
activists. Most activists on that level are not making money. They're
Remember,
spending
he
money.
didn't even have a YouTube until he came with Dalton because everybody told him you need a YouTube, you need a YouTube because all the other content creators had YouTube channels.
Hmm.
So that's the only reason why he opened a YouTube.
Well,
But
the
it's,
other content creators, they ambulance chasing, and what's going to
yeah,
happen is that when all of this, because for me, I have a channel, but my thing is not about Tiffany Henyard every day. I
right,
had I was like, I'm gonna talk to Viv because I was like, you know what, we know each other kind of
right,
directly, indirectly, just being in the same neighborhood and schools
yeah.
and stuff
And
like
I
that.
like to
And
get
then
the information out. So
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I was like, you know what, she actually is there. I was like,
yeah,
I know her. I was like, she there every week, and she really is passionate. She ain't up there playing games. And I'm like, my thing is that my point is that I want it to be solved. I want people not to have to talk about Tiffany Henyard and the story no more.
absolutely. And
I
that's
want the
gonna be
story to
so
go
hard
away.
because nobody gonna stop talking about Tiffany Henyard for some years
Well,
because
probably not, but probably
she has
not. But
done
you know what?
so much
We
that
want the story. People who care want this thing solved. People who
absolutely
don't care. The difference between the mother YouTubers and Jedediah, the mother YouTubers hope the chaos go on forever, so they
keep
can just keep
going,
making
yeah,
stories.
because they
And
like
while
they like it.
it's horrible though, because while they keep making stories, people really suffering. People really
Absolutely,
going through stuff.
our tax money is really gone. Like, but then she'll blame everybody else. The trustees can't steal tax money. That's why they're not under federal investigation.
Of
If
course.
she want to say everything she want to say, but ask who got them subpoenas. It wasn't the trustees who been in federal court already. It wasn't the trustees.
No.
It was her. That's why she need those lawyers because she need to pay for her defense.
This woman is it almost is almost so unbelievable, to be honest with you.
Listen,
It's so out there. She's so overt and out there with it. It's unbelievable. I've seen some corrupt mayors before, but I never seen nothing like this. And I
and the
think
thing about her is she's so rogue. Like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I ain't never met a person that's like, well, yeah, I'll say no. I'm still gonna do it anyway.
Right, right. What I'm saying, like,
Anyway,
I don't care.
and
I
it's
don't care
like
what y'all say.
nobody can check her.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
like your CEO coming in and just like, even though they don't own the company, they got their other business ventures, but they just gonna come in and just fuck that whole organization up
Yeah.
because you hired them as a CEO.
All right. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, like I said, I want to get the story out. I mean, the story's already out, but
The story is out. It's gonna stay out.
the
I
story's
told
out. But I think I think your perspective to me is I think all the YouTubers should be interviewing you because I think you have a well-rounded point of view about it
you.
from all aspects, the whole picture. Because
Yeah.
a lot of people put together videos, quick little videos
hmm
about Tiffany Henyard. Yeah, I mean it's a circus show and it's a clown show, and there's little pieces that you could put there, but there's real problems that's going on, and I like the way you lay it out. So I appreciate you giving me that time just to put it
All
out
right.
there.
Well,
So
thank you, and you have fun and share videos of the recital.
definitely,
All
definitely.
right. Well, I'll
All right,
talk to
I'll
you
talk to
later.
you soon. All
Bye.
right.